adversity, bring it. The struggle, I welcome it. Snooze on life, never that. I am Dave Regina, and this is the No Snooze Podcast. Come on. Welcome back, No Snooze Podcast, episode 188. As always, I'm in the booth with a new three. We have Joey, Shortcuts, Donato, Claudio, the Voice, Valenzuela, and I am Dave, the Body, Regina. My man is snoozing already. Joe Donato, a.k.a. DJ Shortcuts, is one of the biggest names in New York City nightlife, spinning at some of the city's most exclusive venues. He's one of New York's most recognized open-format DJs, holding the reputation for bringing the hottest parties and celebrities to any venue he touches. Shortcuts regularly performs at high-profile fashion, music, corporate, and charity events for brands including Chopard, Red Valentino, Saks Fifth Avenue, Ciroc Premium Vodka, and Heineken. Most recently, he spun for celebrities such as Heidi Klum, Justin Bieber, Miley Cyrus, 50 Cent, Chris Brown, Jamie Foxx, Leonardo DiCaprio, Rihanna, and Jay-Z. He's been featured on Fox 5, TMZ, the New York Post, Page 6, the Daily News, US Weekly, Hot 97, and now the No Snooze Podcast. Welcome to the podcast, my brother.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Of course, man. Listen, we have a real good mutual connection here through CV. So
Right.
You guys went to college together. Talk to me. Tell us something about CV that everybody doesn't know. DJ Shortcuts, talk to us, baby.
I can't put you on blast like that, right? Nah, he was, I'll tell you what, you want to know something that nobody knows? He's probably the best Bond player of all time, right? 007.
Wow.
He was a video game guy.
Yeah, wow. You guys
We used to have wars in the suites.
That's true.
You guys just dropped your age. I think I was like 10 years old when James Bond came out.
Forget that. Nintendo 64 didn't even exist.
Right.
Yeah, so CV, how does this feel for you being in the booth with one of your boys?
Nah, man, this is awesome, man. It's awesome to see Joe again, and I haven't seen him in a while. I mean, you see him all the time because he's everywhere, but it's been a while, man, and I'm excited, man. This is the guy. This is my guy.
Yeah.
My favorite DJ of all time.
You know what's funny? So when we actually first started the podcast,
Right.
your name came up. And right, like consistently over the years, he's like, "Yo, we got to get Joe on. We got to get Joey on. We got to get Joe on."
Yeah,
You go, Joe or Joey? What do you want?
Whatever you
Whatever
want.
works?
Yeah, but yeah, and we've been trying to get it together for
I
a
know.
minute, right? Like we
Yep.
connected. I think it was like December or something, right?
Yeah.
And here we are.
Now we're here, baby.
That's
we're gonna
right.
make some magic, bring some value to the people. Obvious question: how did the name Shortcuts come about? I got my
So-
own thought on it, but you should you
Well,
could tell us.
You look at me and then you. No, honestly, it was kind of like a play because I started as a barber as well, so I started barbering and DJing around. I think it was like I started cutting hair maybe like 6th, 7th grade, and
Wow.
I started DJing like literally simultaneously, and the name kind of just worked for both. You know, like I ended up opening up a barbershop called Shortcuts. And then, you cuts with the records. So like it was kind of like a play off of both. So
I like it. Now, why was it a passion thing with the hair and the music? Were you like,
Yeah.
yo, I just want to be an entrepreneur. I like doing my own thing. Like, how did those two blend together?
I mean, obviously for starters, like I never saw myself as like a 9-to-5 guy.
Mhm.
It was always, I always knew I wanted to be my own boss, and I couldn't see myself working for somebody. So I kind of had that like entrepreneur mentality early on.
Mhm.
And yeah, like that's pretty much how it worked out. And here we are,
Yeah, nice Jewish family growing up.
Yeah, exactly.
So give us a little bit about the
yeah, I mean,
family
I come
background.
from a heavy Italian family. I married, my wife is Italian. Her family was born in Italy. So like we have heavy roots,
Mhm.
I'm like 3rd generation myself.
Okay.
But yeah, you know what the Sundays look like.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay.
it's yeah, we're very heavily Italian culture.
Was there anything specific that you've taken away from, you know, the heritage in terms of like the work ethic that you see that, well, you attribute, I guess, maybe your work ethic to something that you learned back in the day?
Right. I mean, growing up, my father was always, you know, a hard worker. Like he always, you know, I came out of like a community center in Portchester, which is, I guess I would kind of attribute my love for music and stuff like that. You know, my father ran Don Bosco Center, so I'm sure you're familiar about that. And he was like a father figure to so many like underprivileged children, and we were basically like a family, you know. And I was like the one white boy there, and we played hoops, and it was like a family though. These kids were at my house, and you know, my mom was making them dinner. Like I've had like a ton of like, you know, they were actually like my family.
Yeah.
And we grew a bond, and I went through that whole circuit. I started there in like first grade and all the way up to 8th grade. And yeah, that's how, like, I guess I would say my first like love for music was, you know, like I was in like a rap group at like 5th grade.
Yeah.
They were in my bedroom. Had the turntable set up. I had the microphone set up, and they were rapping. I was DJing. So like I think that was literally 6th grade. Like so
I have a daughter who'll be 4 in June.
Okay.
And I'm toying with like things that she likes. So anything she likes, if she says she likes basketball, I get her a basketball with a hoop. If she says she likes soccer, I get her a soccer ball. She said she likes to perform, I got her a microphone. Do you have a moment that you remember that maybe like your family or somebody got you like the first turntable? What was it?
I remember my first pair of turntables. I was in 7th grade. It was a pair of like Pioneer belt drive like turntables, and I had the, you know, I do remember that significantly, and I literally had those probably for like a month, and I'm like, nah, can I curse on here? I'm like, fuck that, I need to get the real thing. So that was when I got myself a pair of Techniques and got the real stuff. Like, but yeah, that's a very vivid memory on my behalf.
And switching over back to basketball, you know, the Manhattanville connections here are heavy, but also shout out to Pat Scanlon.
Pat, what's up, man?
I know, you know, he's one of your guys, the two of you guys, but then also was a huge mentor and coach for me. So shout out to Pat. I want to talk about the business a little bit. So everybody, you look at DJs, right? And you're like, wow, that seems really dope. Like I get to just pull up and play music, but there's a lot of behind the scenes things that go on in terms of like the booking process, you know, figuring out your sets and just the whole preparation. Talk to me about how you took something that you were good at to then be like, all right, you know what? I have this name for myself, but now I'm going to turn it into a business.
Right. I would say, you know, one thing that was, I'm a perfectionist. So anything that I do, you know, I'm very hard on myself, and I always want to make sure it's done correctly, because, you know, that speaks for that's your name, right? I'll give you a good example. I'm a resident DJ at a party called Tuesday Baby Tuesday. Now I've been doing this party for 15 years.
Wow. It's that, and just to give context, that's probably the biggest weekday party in New York City.
It's the biggest weekday party. It's the longest running party in New York City history. Okay. It's been going on since 1992 or 93, maybe 93. It's jumped around, but it's been consistent every Tuesday since 93. Now, I joined 15 years ago.
It's a long time.
It's a long time to have a residency, you know what I mean? Like, still, every Tuesday night, I'm in my computer organizing, you know, like setting up a different set, or like I'm constantly on it. You know, there's always new music coming out.
Right.
But you don't want to sound the same. You know, I sometimes, you know, you can get lazy and you're going back to the same records that you're used to playing. But I try to, you know, gives the people something different every week. So the fact that I'm still, you know, working on my craft weekly, you know what I mean? Obviously, if you want it to be a business, you need to, it's not just gonna, like, hey, can I show up and open up my laptop and give people a party? Yeah. But I want to sound different. So, I mean, that's something that I kind of like really, and the fact that the party is so celebrity driven, like, you know, last week we had, you know, Busta Rhymes, Flo Rida, Trey Songz was in there. The week before, Carmelo Anthony was in there. the week before someone else. So it's like there's always it's a celebrity driven, artist driven party, and we've had so many performances over the years that say if I have Fat Joe one week, I have a Fat Joe crate. So if you go into my laptop and you click Tuesday Baby Tuesday, a drop down menu of probably 100 different artists.
Wow, that's cool.
Will pop up, and then I know, okay, we got Trey Songz in the building like the other night. So boom, I click Tuesday Baby Tuesday, Trey Songz, and I got all of his records. So now I can mix that throughout the night into my set where I'm still showing the artist love, you know what I mean, and letting the people know, look what we have here, and it's cool because preparation. I'll tell you one thing is that's to sum this all up. Preparation is super key.
So as you're talking through that, I'm thinking of the 5 Ps.
Right.
Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Exactly.
And in any industry that you're in, doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
Preparation is the key to everything.
I live my life based off that.
Yeah. Now, you look extremely good. And I mean that in a way of like, just like you look healthy, right? When you're in the clubs and stuff like believe me, I know just from being in the club as an attendee, like I was getting banged up, and then I'm coming out, I'm looking crazy. I'm drinking a lot. The environment is different.
Right.
How hard has it been to maintain like healthy habits and a healthy lifestyle when you're constantly around celebrities and drinks being thrown at you? Talk to me about that.
So, one thing that I don't know if call it luck, but I was never into like the partying, the drinking scene. Like I always took my job super serious because I felt like I needed to be like laser focused. Like if you're in a room with 200 people, if you're in a room with 2,000 people, you're still controlling that whole vibe. You know what I mean? So the fact that I never wanted to be off my game, although sometimes, like I can't say that there's like if I'm in the same bars or something like that, I'm having a few cocktails, sometimes you get a little more creative. But in all, like I try to be sharp all the time. And I always, even from back in the day, like all my friends were the ones getting fucked up. You know what I mean? Like I was the one that was, either driving to the gigs or, making sure that everything else was on point. So again, that was something that I always kind of like pride myself off of. And I'm not like a heavy drinker or like I didn't party like that. So I think that the fact that I took care of my body these last 30 years, I think plays a huge role in that. At the same time, there is how would I say it? I think the fact that I took care of myself this long,
right?
So what I wanted to say was that there was a phase where I would get out of the club at 4 o'clock in the morning and there's nothing to eat. I mean, healthy. What are you eating at 4 o'clock in the morning that's healthy? And I went through like a good stretch, I would say maybe like, 5-6 years ago where I blew up, I got almost 190 pounds.
Wow.
And then, like right then and there, I'm like, I got to get this together. It was more of like a food type of abuse than it was drugs or alcohol,
Right.
And then once, I got married and like leading up to the wedding and I said to myself, look, if I want to keep this going for another 20 years, I need to make sure my health is on point. So
yeah. Now, what do you do on like a day-to-day basis to keep yourself right?
It's pretty wild, man. Like I'm still hooping.
That's
so I'm
great,
in
man.
like 3 leagues right now: a Monday, a Tuesday, a Thursday night league. And I see a personal trainer. Shout out my guy Kev. I'm seeing a trainer 3 days a week. And then the days that I'm not like working late, I'm up at like 4:45 and I'm in the gym by like 5:30 and we're still running full court. Like I try to do it. If I don't have 3 games a week, I try to at least hoop 3 times a week. And yeah, people are like, how do you get up this early? And I'm like, that's my nighttime for you guys. You know what I mean? Like
So health is an extremely important thing for you, just
very
in life
much
in
so.
general.
Very much so. I watched my father got sick with like he had diabetes. He needed like a kidney transplant, and it opens your eyes. They say health is wealth. Like they're not lying.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit off air, and I told you a little bit about the Crohn's disease, and I think looking back, I'm actually fortunate that it happened early to wake me up you know, because that was the moment for me that I was like, like, I'm not going to be what these doctors said. Like, they were like, listen, you're going to live with this for the rest of your life. But I'm like, yeah, no, definitely not going to look like you when I grow up, for sure. But it's unfortunate to me that people, we wait until we're told that something really bad is happening to either us or somebody that we love. And then immediately there's that instant regret.
Right.
And yeah, you know, being healthy and putting time and effort into your body and watching what you eat, it takes effort, but it's well worth every single penny from any perspective,
100%.
right?
I agree.
I mean, whether it's monetary or it's just time that you're investing, it's worth the investment for sure. So I just want to make that message extremely clear. CV, you listening to me, my brother? Yes, sir. All right, good. Heard you. Talk to me a little bit about the travel, man. You've traveled all over the place: South Africa, Dubai, Mexico, Panama, St. Bart's. You're a resident DJ over there now.
That's like home base now.
That's great.
Yeah.
Bi-monthly?
So it was so basically, again, now I'm not going. I explained to you with the house and stuff, but yeah, I'm going probably, I would say, anywhere from 8 to 10 times a year. You know, there's so many different celebrations over there. You have the festive celebration where sometimes I'm there for like 3 weeks. Then you have, Bucket Regatta, which is in March. And that's like a boat race, and they have events there. And then, like I have private events over there. And, I built like a clientele where I have private parties and like villas and boat parties. And then there's a nightclub. There's a nightclub called Casa, which I was going, they'll probably have me 4 or 5 times a year. And now there's another club called La T that also does, I was there a couple times last year. So yeah, like I would say all in all, like St. Bart's is like, that's like home base. And,
does your wife get to go with you?
Oh, St. Bart's she doesn't miss, the AC, the Vegas, the stuff like that. Like, Vegas I haven't, since COVID, I was going to Vegas for like 3 years bi-weekly. And ever since COVID, Vegas is not, even New York, I mean, there's a lot of markets that aren't the same anymore. Vegas being one of them, they're not really bringing in New York DJs that are like open format. There's a couple that, still stayed out there, but since COVID, I would say there's been a big turn in how they're doing their business out there, which is cool, because getting on a plane every other week, sometimes every week for 3 years to go to Vegas it's tough. It's tough on the body. And I went to Vegas different than people. I'm not there to party. I'm not there to gamble. So for example, like my Vegas turnaround is like, I'll get on a 6 p.m. or like a 6:30 p.m. flight, right? And I'll land in Vegas, I would say like 9, 10 o'clock at night, because I got the time difference. Yeah. I'll land 10 o'clock. I'll go grab something to eat. I'll go to my room, change up, shower. I'm in the club by 12 o'clock. 12:30, I'm on the set. I'm playing till 2:30, 3 a.m. Back to the room, shower up. I'm on a 6 a.m. flight.
Wow.
So I'm turning around and literally I'm on my couch at 1 p.m., 2 p.m. on Sunday. Like I did that for 3 years. There was some weekends where if I had multiple gigs but normally in and out. And that's the way you got to do Vegas if you want it. You know what I mean?
If you want to be successful.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. What has been the most challenging part, man, of building what you've been able to build? And it's very impressive, I got to say, man. Doing this for 30 years, but then being like, as established as you are now for what, at least 15 of these 30 years?
Yeah, 15. Like, my first half of my career, I was a kid.
Yeah.
You're just figuring it out. But, yeah, I would say the last 15, like besides the club stuff, I also built like a private, more like a high-end chic private event company where we're doing, weddings that are like over the top. Yeah. And I'm going to Italy and I'm going to Saint-Tropez and like doing these like real high scale weddings that, like that's from my private. So that's like a whole separate sector of what my club DJ thing looks like. And yeah, I think one of the main things that, made me consistency, you have to be consistent in anything that you do. So I think that played a huge, huge part in what the question was. What
the
was
most challenging?
Challenging.
Yeah.
I think the travel is what, like, people, like you said, people see me with the bright lights and a million people in the crowd and people going crazy, and that's all they see. But there's so much behind the scenes, and you know, I'm getting home from the club at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm on a plane at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm landed in New York at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then I got a day party at 1 p.m. And it's like, that was my life for like a good 10 years, you know, like I would say, yeah, the past 10 to 12, 15, maybe even 15 years, like, it's just constant moving. And I'm sleeping on planes. And I'm sure you know, like, the sleep that you're getting on a plane is not the sleep that you're getting in your bed.
Right.
You're not hitting that REM. Like, you're in, you're out, you're in, you're out. Like,
you're getting hit with a cart,
food
cart.
Right,
what do you want for a snack?
I think that the travel and the like the constant fight with the body is the most challenging. So that's what I.
Yeah, no, I didn't think you were going to say that. In my head, though, for me, I think that would be the most challenging part of DJing for sure.
Right.
Because I got a couple friends too from college. Ironic, you know, the Manhattanville community is heavy. Shout out Felipe Vargas, and he was actually just with Busta Rhymes in New York not too long ago too.
What's his DJ name?
Felva. Yeah, Miami-based DJ.
Okay.
Yeah, and pretty big in the game now too, but also like stepped into the producer space.
Right.
And he's doing a lot of stuff in the music industry too.
Yeah, that's like, you know, I dipped into that. I came out with a single a couple years ago, and that's, I feel like that might be, you know, like the afterlife, you know, maybe go into that world. But I love the
I get
the energy right now,
dude.
know?
I travel on, you know, quick flights, and you know, my buddy, shout out my best friend Mark Carter. He takes me all over the place in his little Nike endeavors with the basketball world, and you know, he's like, "Oh, let's go to Portland, let's go to Vegas. I need 3 days to recover." And we're not even like out there partying at all. It's like very business based. But I get off a flight, and I'm like, "Oh my God, it's terrible." You know, so being able to like put that into your routine is great.
I'll give you one example, and this should probably like sum it all up on the travel. I would say maybe it was before COVID, so maybe it was like 2019. I was a resident at One Oak, and I was playing One Oak Dubai, I was playing One Oak Vegas, I was playing One Oak LA, and I was playing One Oak New York, all simultaneously. I had this residency everywhere, right? So I had a Thursday, I was in, okay, so follow me. I flew to Dubai on Thursday to play One Oak. So when you're flying, you need a day to get over there. So my gig in Dubai was on Friday. So I played One Oak Dubai on Friday night. I flew to LA to get to Vegas to play the Vegas Oak on Saturday night. And then I had to be in New York to play the New York Oak on Sunday night.
Oh my God.
So in a matter of 3 days, think about the planes, you know what I mean? Like, there's no sleep really, except but that's how much you're moving around. And like, even the pressure with the airplanes, you know, like, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. Now, would you say from a money perspective, looking back at all that, is it worth it?
Yeah.
When you get to that level.
When you're at that level, you know, obviously all my travel and hotels are all covered, you know, and I'm obviously getting paid to play, you know. So yeah, is it lucrative? For sure. You know, otherwise, I don't think at this stage in my career I'd be doing it.
You can't justify it.
Yeah,
right?
you can't justify it. I mean, back in the day when I was younger, would I fly somewhere just to say I played there? Of course.
Right.
Even when I was, you know, coming up, did I take a gig and probably play for no money just to say I played that room? 100%. I'd be the first one to tell you, you know. But I think now where I am in my career, like, it's got to make sense.
Right, of course.
You know what I mean? I think I'm established enough where it's like, look, if it's not making sense,
they're probably not even coming to you with
it's not.
Are you looking to elevate your brand with captivating visuals and immersive sound? Look no further than the home of the No Snooze podcast, Kai Visions Productions, your go-to destination for cutting-edge audio and video production. At Kai Visions, we don't just create content, we create experiences that leave a lasting impact. From podcasts, YouTube variety shows, sleek corporate videos, to attention-grabbing promotional campaigns, our team of experts is dedicated to turning your vision into reality. Choose Kayi Visions for a production experience like no other. It's time to make your brand known. Contact us today at kayivisions@gmail.com or find us on Instagram at Kayi Visions. Kayi Visions Productions, where audio-visual excellence meets innovation. Now, back to the Epi. Let's talk about the barbershop a little bit.
Cool.
The barbershop is like one of the best places for me to build like relationships, and specifically the relationship with my barber. Shout out to Irwin's Barbershop in White Plains, my guy for 13 plus years since I was at.
Well, he's your psychiatrist too.
That's what I'm saying. And he's my pastor.
Right.
And he really is.
Right.
He's I literally, besides God, he's the most important man in my life.
Right.
What skills translated over from, like, was it learning how to like negotiate and talk to people? Because as the barber, I think it's kind of weird when you're sitting there and you can't even strike a conversation with your client. So
Right.
what skills specifically, if you were to look at the barbering world to now you as a successful DJ, what were the similarities?
That's a great question, because I was actually able to flip, I used it to my advantage. So again, I opened up my own barbershop. I think it was 2004, 2005. And at that, I'm only, 20, 24 or whatever, 20 years old. And I had a barbershop that was very popular. And I would say, I think I had like 5 or 6 barbers in there at one time. So now, at that moment, I'm probably doing 40, 50 customers a week myself. You got 4 other barbers that, I would say there's, 250, 300 people traffic-wise in and out of my shop per week. All those kids are same. A lot of them, I would say 90% of them are the same age group.
Right.
They're all going out. So now what do I do? Okay, where are we going this weekend? So now I'm showing up to the club on Fridays and Saturdays sometimes with 40, 50 people just with me. Forget on paper. Like
Right.
I'm at that time I was doing like over 100 people on paper. And with the big, tables were what these promoters wanted. So like if I'm coming into a venue and I'm DJing your party, I'm playing the music, I'm walking in with 50 people, and then I'm booking, 7 to 10 tables a night, where you obviously know how much these kids are spending on bottles. I was doing that at an early age. So that's what made me really get ahead of the game as far as, success, because I was getting booked early in a lot of these rooms, and I was adding value to their room. So I'm not only just playing the music, I'm bringing money and business.
And leads.
So like these owners and promoters, like
they loved you.
They loved me. And I'll be honest, like I was still not learning. I knew how to DJ,
Right.
but I still had to get better, and like now I'm at a point in my career where I've learned and was like a sponge to older DJs, and took what I learned from them to come as good as I am now. But that was how I spun the barbershop to being able to get booked anywhere in New York City. Like there was a point where, again, when you're bringing that much money, even if they were booking me to open, like I didn't need the headline, but I could have gotten booked at any venue in New York just because of my following.
That's a clip right there. And that's gold, because any business that you're in, like even with the podcast, right? Like Ace doesn't have the platform. So we started the men's summits that we were talking about.
Right.
Which has now branched into like co-ed workouts, monthly networking dinners too. So it's Action Cultivates Excellence. But we've been able to take no snooze, build the platform to give leverage to Action Cultivates Excellence. And I think people can really create success, whatever that looks like for you, when you're able to, build something and then take the skill that you've been able to build there and apply it immediately to the next transition.
Right.
Why'd you end up closing the barbershop?
Because honestly, it was becoming more of a, I would say, it's sad to say, it was becoming more of a headache because when I'm on the road, all right, it turned out to be like, started to be every weekend. So if I'm on the road, at the end of the day, you go to your barbershop, like you said, he's the most important guy. Would you go to somebody else?
No, I'm not trying to.
Right.
I
So
hate when I have to.
I couldn't dump my clientele my clientele was my clientele because of they wanted me to cut their hair. So if I'm not available, you know, the rent at that time, like the barber game, I feel like is totally different now too. Like I was getting $20-$25 a cut. Now
it's like $70.
$70.
It's crazy.
Like I almost
Plus,
wish
like,
I stayed there.
$15 deposits and
Right.
stuff. I mean,
It's-
my barber doesn't do that.
Right.
And you know,
but there's some that are
oh, yeah.
charging like $70-$75 a cut, and God bless them, you know. But again, my barbers were paying my rent, so all the money that I made, you know, whatever it was 50 customers a week or whatever, that was all the cash in my pocket, and that was what I went home with. So if I'm not there cutting, and I'm just paying my rent, or let's say, you know, if I had 6 barbers, my rent was $2,000, and I was coming up $1,000. At the same time, I'm still getting phone calls. Yo, your barber, there's hair all over the ground. This barber's fighting with it. You're like a babysitter, you know, and it wasn't financially worth it for me to keep it open. So I just, you know, sold all the equipment and just got out of it. And at the same time too, like I'm in 2 lanes going 50 miles an hour instead of being in 1 lane going 100 miles an hour, you know? So it like my DJ, like, again, I was going into the barbershop 9-10 in the morning, sometimes leaving 9-10 at night. So and then I would go to the club.
Yeah, it's a long time.
It's a long, and I had to sacrifice something. I knew that I could do this with music. I knew, like, I had the passion. I knew I had the connections. I knew that I wanted to, like, my love for music and DJing was far superior to me cutting hair.
Right.
So
how instrumental, I guess, I'm thinking about now your wife. And what's your wife's name?
Lisa.
Shout out to you, Lisa. How instrumental has she been? Because this can't be easy on a relationship, a marriage, whether you're boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is, you know, to have your partner basically be an entrepreneur like you who has to just go all the time. So how instrumental has she been in your journey and success?
It's crazy to say this. She changed my life. Like she met me she knew what it was going in, right? So I think, you know, being the wife of a DJ is probably one of the hardest things to be. Like, look, I'm in the club, there's dancers, there's bottle waitresses, there's drunk people all the time around me, you know what I mean? So has it been challenging in those areas? Yes, of course. But when I say she changed my life, she's very health driven. So she's a personal trainer. She's a teacher. She's also a personal trainer. When I'm on the road, she's my personal trainer. So she's kicking my ass in the gym. Like if I'm wherever we are, if I have to go travel for an event and we're away for a week, she's making sure that, you know, let's go, get up. Like she pushes me. And then also the you know, the food aspect. Like I don't even think I knew what quinoa was before I met my wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now I'm here eating oatmeal with berries and quinoa, and I'm gluten-free, I'm dairy-free. And it's like, well, before I met her, like if you came into my house, I had goldfish, pretzel rods, you know, like it was like a kid's fridge. And it's crazy. Like she literally changed my whole, you know, outlook on how to eat, health, you know, how important it is to work out. You know, you're obviously people do cardio and, you know, playing ball and all that is great. But if your bones aren't strong and I don't think I have to tell you.
Talk, please.
Because like you need to be strong, you know, like again, people think that cardio is everything. Like as long as, I can eat what I want, as long as I do cardio. No, I don't, you could attest for this. I don't think that's true. I think your bones need to be strong, your joints and everything. And like, again, this is something that I wasn't aware of until, you know, she's very knowledgeable in food, working out. And when I say she changed my life, she changed my life.
No, it's amazing. And I even though I know what I know, I still love hearing, you know, all this stuff because people hear me say it all the time in terms of like you know, having dense bones is very important. Right. So we actually there's this lady, I'll tell you a good story. She's 100, Miss Maybell. She's 105 years old, right? And you, CV, might know her. She comes to, you know, one of the programs in the town. She's very involved in like the fall prevention class, which is like a class for seniors where you sit in a chair. They have like light dumbbells and bands, and they're just really there to be mobile.
Right.
But Miss Maybell drives herself at 105 years old. She just
I'm in that class, by the way.
you need to be in that class. She just came to class 3 weeks ago. She leaves, she goes home, she falls, she breaks her hip. But because she's as strong as she is at 105, she is absolutely fine. And she's going to recover from this. And at 105 years old, she's going to bounce back from a broken hip. And when you talk to her, she attests right to that.
Yeah,
she's like, if I wasn't doing the stuff that I'm doing, I wouldn't be here. You can't fall. You know, when you fall even at 60 years old, you know, your bones, they're weak. And if you're doing weights properly, it only benefits the cardio aspect, because if you're constantly moving in circuits, and yeah, I do like my meathead lifts and stuff like that, but like I'm doing push-ups and pull-ups every single day. You know, I'm running 1.5 miles every day. I'm doing kettlebells now every day. Like I'm constantly trying to just change my routine, because as I get older, I just want to get better.
Right.
You know, that's the goal. And I'm looking at you and I'm like, damn, like I look at my buddy Mark, you know, he's same age. I'm like, that's what I want to be.
Right.
You know, and people, like, you could just turn that on and you can decide, even if you're not where you want to be right now, you turn that on, you can start this tomorrow.
Right.
You know, you don't have to wait till Monday. That's another thing. Stop waiting till Monday. Do it tomorrow.
I mean, diet, obviously, I would say is probably 90% of it, which I still struggle to this day with.
I think we all do.
Yeah. And I think it's, I mean, life, I feel like, is about balance, right? You know, if you're going to cheat and you want to look forward, you do that one cheat meal a week or whatever, whatever works for anybody. But I know, like, in my mind, the way I look at it, it's like, look, I'm gonna get after it. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna get in, you know, three hoop sessions a week. I'm gonna hit the gym 3 times, and then I'll hit the pizzeria 1 time Saturday night. Like, let's just be realistic, you know, like, and that's the way you gotta approach it. And then, like, each week you get better. And again, I like, the gym is super, super important. And
even for your mental too, right?
For your mental, like, you know, the way, how you feel that when you walk out of the gym, even when you don't want to be there. Like, do I want to, like, some of my sessions are Wednesdays, and I'm in the club, I'm walking in the house at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I got to go to the gym at 12 or 1 o'clock. Do I want to go? No,
of course not.
But I go, and then when I leave there, you feel even better than, you know, so again, it's about balance, but it's also like, I'll preach this and circle back to my wife. Like, she's always pushed, like, I don't care if you're playing basketball, like, you need to be lifting weights.
Right.
And she's right.
So you mentioned gluten and dairy free.
Right.
For my own knowledge, talk to me about it and how it makes you feel, because I'm asking because, well, I guess by the time this episode airs, it'll air in a couple of weeks. I'll already almost be done with my Whole30 challenge, but I'm going to do a Whole30 diet. I'm sure your wife knows about this, but basically the concept is like whole foods only. Right. So it's all vegetables, all fruits, all meat, nothing processed, right? So like you could have a good meal in the morning would be like 4 to 5 eggs, avocado, tomato, fruit. Lunch would be like grilled chicken and broccoli rabe. Dinner is like salmon and salad, right? So it's all just whole food, nothing processed for 30 days. And no dairy, no alcohol, none of that stuff. Have you noticed like a change from eliminating dairy from your diet?
So I think I'm lactose, to be honest with you. And I have a very, very big sensitivity to gluten. If I put gluten in my body, it looks like I'm pregnant. Like, there's a reaction or something that goes on with my stomach where the second I like touch gluten, I blow up.
What specific, like what's
any breads, pastas like that aren't gluten free.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
And like, it's funny, I know we have a mutual friend, shout out Melissa at MedSpa. We I went through like the test thing, you know, we're going through like I'm really diving into this health thing now.
She's great.
She's the best.
She literally is.
And she's awesome. So like, we have like, you know, there's stuff out I'm being tested right now for A through Z of everything that's, you know, that the metals in my body, you know, what is that's like bothering, like I need to get I'm still working on it every day because I can't figure it out. When it's saying that I'm not, what's the thing when you're allergic to gluten, the disease? Celiac. I don't have celiacs, but there's something going on.
There's a sensitivity.
There's a sensitivity that it's like extreme.
So just speaking on that sensitivity, what people don't know, it's a wild statistic. It's between 70 to 80% of the population in the world has a sensitivity to dairy and gluten. And it's a sensitivity, so it's not a it's not in the most extreme form, but we don't even realize it because we've been fed milk since we were like infants.
Right.
So that feeling that you're feeling, you think it's a normal feeling in your body, but it's not. And it doesn't mean that the second you drink it or have gluten, you're running to the bathroom. That's not what the sensitivity is. It's the feeling and the inflammation that's going on internally.
Right. And I'll tell you one thing though. It's really in the US. Let's just be honest.
Well, yes, that's what I
So like the food the food that we're getting in the United States, it's poison. I don't care what anybody wants to tell me, because when I'm in Italy and I'm in Europe every summer, and I'm eating 3-4 bowls of pasta a day,
and you're fine.
I'm fine.
That's crazy.
I'm fine. So like,
CV's like, take me there.
like when you go to Europe and I have gluten, it's a totally different type of feeling than when I'm eating gluten here.
So this isn't giving me a statistic, but it says up to 50 million Americans are currently lactose intolerant. So that's not even inclusive of the symptoms for people that just have a sensitivity.
Right.
That's crazy. Out of control.
And again, like I said, I'll keep preaching. I'm not scared to say it. Like the stuff that we're being fed here is all poison.
Oh yeah.
That's not, it's all like modified and like sprayed, and it's just different. Like when you go to Europe and you eat over there, it's a different feeling.
It's really sad too, because even like blueberries, right? I'm real big on the blueberry game. They call them brain berries.
Me too.
Because just the cognitive benefits of blueberries are, there's nothing comparable to them.
Right.
So I just read some data that basically said, unless your blueberries are organic, which I'm not buying all organic stuff, I got to be honest with you. I buy healthy stuff, what I think is healthy.
Right.
But I just read this data, and it said if you're not buying organic blueberries, the amount of pesticides that are in your regular blueberries are far worse than like eating like freaking M&Ms. I'm like, yo, this is crazy.
It's crazy.
What am I doing?
It's wild. And like, who's to say that the
organic is actually
really organic? You know what I mean?
I'm not even joking. I'm gonna start to look into this. So I'm not a gardener myself, but I'm gonna start growing blueberries out here because, like, at the very least, what I'm gonna put into my body are some organic,
like, dude,
blueberries.
I really like my dream, like before I die, is like I want to like literally have my own like crops and like grow my own, grow my own food where I'm eating. What you're putting in your body.
Right.
Like, because even like you said, the stuff that they're saying is organic,
right?
It's not organic.
Yeah, like this Whole Foods.
It's a sales pitch.
100%. But this Whole Foods diet that I'm going to do, even what we were talking about upstairs, right? Like, okay, I go to a restaurant and I order my grilled chicken and my broccoli. And CV's like, well, what if the broccoli is like other things in it and it's out of a can and it's got the syrups and this and that? And it's like, you're right. I don't know. So like, but it's still got to be, my point is, although that sucks, it still has to be healthier than just being out here just not focusing on
eating pizza or like eating, fried foods or something like that, for sure. Like you said, the blueberries, whether they're sprayed or whatever the case may be, it's like,
it's great.
I eat them every morning, man.
I know.
I'm hooked. Like right now, I'm in this like oatmeal with blueberries, strawberries, and like I'm eating it like my wife said to me this morning, she's like, there's something like not okay with you. Like if you don't have this, like it's a problem for you. I'm like, she's like, you have like I don't know.
Addiction to it.
It's like an addiction to oatmeal. And it's like, she's like, I don't get it.
I'm not talking to anybody till I have my oatmeal in the morning. Oh man. Talk to me a little bit about leveraging yourself just as a brand, right? Let's give people some value on what you did. And again, like I'm not really asking to teach people out here. I don't like teaching people, but like talk to me about what it is that you did to turn yourself to a brand. Like Shortcuts now is a known name, not only in New York, but now globally, which is dope as hell.
Yeah.
Give us some tactics on what you did to build this.
I think when the social media era hit, or like, the content creation era hit, I always prided myself off of like keeping everything on brand, which was like super clean, like, again,
what do you mean by that?
So like anything that has ever been put out from my behalf, whether it's mixes or whether it's, videos or YouTube or stuff like that, it's always, obviously like the stuff back in the day, like if I'm performing with an artist, it was raw, like, and it was like, the what do I say? Like the filming
The
wasn't,
quality.
the quality
Right.
wasn't how it is, but everything that I tried to pride myself was like clean, you know, like high end, like you are what you kind of push. So it's like, I always wanted to push myself as like a cleaner, you know, brand that, and that it speaks volumes, you know what I mean? So that's it's one thing that I say I pretty much
Do you ever show up late to your sets?
never.
And why is that?
Never.
Because I'm asking because it used to piss me off when I would go to clubs and like the headline DJ would be like an hour late. And I'm like, yo, from a business perspective, it just, and I was always geared more towards business. So
Right.
although I'm drinking in the club and
Right.
having a good time, like I'm still there to see the headline DJ, but you're showing up an hour late. Like,
For example, what time was I here today?
oh yeah, you're on time. And,
So,
and
like,
early. You were
Right,
early.
I was early. So
Yeah.
when you're early, you're late
You're-
sometimes, you know.
right.
But like, here's the thing, I'm like my word. If I tell you I'm going to be there,
Mhm.
like, has there ever been an instance in 20, 30 years where did I hit traffic and I got there? That's obviously it wouldn't be normal if that didn't happen. But at the same time, I want to get to the club. You know, if my set is if I'm on at 1 o'clock or 1:30, I want to get to the club at 12:30 or like at least an hour, like 45 minutes before, because I want to see what the kid before me, the opening DJ, is doing. You know, like I need to know. There's a lot of times where I need to get on at one when I'm getting on, and I need to reset the room because the DJ, you know, the way that the night is supposed to work, you're supposed to take them like on a journey. You know, like there's supposed to be highs, there's supposed to be lows. You know, there's supposed to be time where, you know, let them go to the bar, get a drink. You know, then there's times where you're just pushing that lever like 200 miles an hour where you want nothing but energy, but you want there to be a good balance of a flow of the night. This way, at 4 o'clock in the morning, when the lights go on, I still want to have a full room. So I think getting to the club before my set is important because I'm able, you know, one of my like best friends, and he's a DJ as well. His name is John Luke, and he does a lot of my opening sets. You know, we've been playing together for years.
Mhm.
For him, I can show up 2 minutes before my set because he knows how to set the room up.
Mhm.
He sets me up. So like there's certain music that's played in the early hours while people are getting in, you know, vibey stuff where he's not pushing that. But like if it's a bit, sometimes a lot, you know, if I'm out of town and here I am, a New York kid coming to play in someone else's territory, there's some DJs that are respectful, but then there's some DJs that are just gonna shine and play all the good hits
Oh, that's
at 12 o'clock or 12:30 and leave nothing for you. And it's like, you play what, I'm one of those, you can play whatever you want.
Mhm.
You're not going to play it how I play it, number one. Like, you're not going to bring in the record the same way and get the same reaction as how I do it. You know, so if you want to go that route and compromise the integrity of the party and play all those hits early, there's still enough music that I know I could play
Right.
that you're not going to play the same way. And it's kind of insulting when a lot of these DJs do it. I take it with like, it's like, it's not, they don't have the knowledge. Like, be smart and have respect for the promoters or the owners so that their bar could ring till 4 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? Like, set me up. If I'm headlining, look, if I'm not headlining and if I'm playing with someone else, I'm going to set them up. Like, you could put me on at 10 o'clock at night. I know what I'm to play.
Right. Part of the game.
And I stress, like, you know, my guy John, because he really, he's young. He's like, I think he's like early 30s, but he's got the music mentality of like a 60-year-old. Like, he's so deep in here with his knowledge of music that he knows how to set me up. And like, he plays the right music to set the tone for the rest of the night. So I think that's how I.
It's crazy. Like, I'm sitting back and I'm like, wow, there's so much to DJing, right? Besides what you just actually see in the moment. And I love the creative thought process that's behind it all. Damn, as you were talking, something got triggered and I wanted to ask a question specifically on that. I don't know. I lost it. Hopefully,
if you want me to jump in, real quick,
go ahead.
I just want to say something because I was thinking about it before.
Yeah.
And as he's kind of going through the I guess the process,
Right.
I'm thinking back of like back in the day, and the reason I say this is my favorite DJ of all times is not just to give him a pat in the back or that's my guy. No, like I've been in the beginning when he was already in it for a while, but when he would go to the bars and we would go out, well, all of Manhattan will go out there and just support and just to hang out. This guy, man, like. There's a vibe in there. There's like a flow to it, and like you'll be in there, and you're partying, and you're having fun because not only your boys DJing and everyone is there from the school, so it's already hype. Mm-hmm. But then as you're like listening to music, and something you said right now, I never thought about it, but it's 100% spot on. The way you transition into one song or you introduce another one. My epic memories of you in the bars or DJing is that like all of a sudden you listen to a song that's dope and all of a sudden you introduce another one and you're like, oh, that's my shit.
You just keep screaming,
and all of a sudden you're like, your energy is just going wild. And man, I don't know. I mean, yeah, you hear about it, you see it in other places, but to be actually in a place where somebody's doing it and to hear you now kind of describe it that way, I'm like, this guy. It's
all about the
secret
it's
sauce,
all about
man.
the setup too. Like like. Again, there's people before me that I learned from, like guys like, like a Kid Capri or like, one of my best friends is like a DJ Big Ben. And I learned a lot as far as mic wise from him, like you set up records. So like, I'm going to talk my shit about the record that's coming in next. You know what I mean? So like if a record is starting off, saying a certain thing, I'm gonna mess with the crowd and I'm gonna start talking to them a little bit, and then whap, when you bring that record in, you get that like the response. And I think like it's all on the setup. Again, like I said, I learned from guys like, Big Bang, Kid Capri, like, the DJ Rizzes, the DJ Finesses, and all those guys I took a little piece of something from, but I also put my own sauce on it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I spun it so that it's shortcuts. Like for anybody, there's people that are out there, like literally biting. I wouldn't say that. I think I'm paying homage to, like some of their styles,
right,
like some of the verbiage that is said on the microphone, or, I say it my own way, but you're connecting with the crowd in that same instance,
It came back to me, and now that you mentioned big time DJs, this is what it was. What do you think the difference is? Because you got to get to a level to where, like, once you've been DJing for a couple of years, like, you could spin the hits. What is the difference and the separator? You look at guys in the NBA, right? They're all great basketball players. They can all shoot. They can all play D, but some do it better than others. But basically what it comes down to, you look at like the Steph Curry. Okay, why is he probably the best shooter of all time? He's not my GOAT, because my GOAT from a shooting perspective would be Ray Allen, but that's a separate conversation in itself.
Right.
But Steph Curry, he's already at that level, but he's taking 500 jump shots a day.
Maybe
right?
more. Maybe
now you
1,000.
stack that over time.
Right.
I mean, he's millions and millions of jump shots in. Where some guys get to the league and they're just in the league and they have a good career. They 5, 10, even 15 years. In DJing, is there something that becomes the separator to getting to that next level?
I think it's a good question. I think it's just being consistent. Like obviously you could really like geek out and like really like break DJing down to like, BPMs and tempos and mixing in key. You know what I mean? Like to make some DJs, if you're not mixing in key, like, each song has a key and a melody, or so like if you're mixing two songs that are in key, it's going to sound a lot cleaner than if you're mixing two songs that's out of key. But I think just the fact of how you play the music, like, I'll take a hook, or you call it like the meat and potatoes of a song. So like I'll take the hook from one record and mix that into, the core, like you mix different parts of the record that people are familiar with. Like the one thing about like New York, and I even think the rest of the world, like with this age, this new like wave that we're on, is the attention span there's no attention span.
Well, that's because of the phones.
Right. So think about that, how that translates over into the club. These people want to hear, or like I'm playing a record that 15, 20 seconds after the hook or the chorus or whatever it is, they're over it. So I got to play a record. So I'm flying through records. Like even the other night, like we woke up the next morning after Tuesday, and I text my buddy John. I'm like, it was like flying through the records too fast, and he's like, he's used to the way I'm playing. He's like, no, I don't think so, because sometimes like I'm just flying through stuff.
Because you're reading the room, and then
I'm
you're
reading
like,
the
I gotta
room.
transition.
I want to keep that energy. Like I want to keep that pedal to the metal. You know what I mean? So like I want to keep the energy up, and I don't want there ever to be like a down point
Right.
when I'm in that mode. You know what I'm saying? So that's I don't know if there's a specific thing. I think just being consistent over the years gets you to that level.
Yeah, this is longevity for you, man.
Yeah,
this is a long time.
It's a while.
Yeah, no, that's dope. You never wanted to I guess what's the difference between like radio DJs and open format DJs?
So I've done radio, like, you know, I've done Hot 97 for, I would say like 5-6 years, when they did like, you know, they had the all mix weekends.
Yep.
And I was like a regular on every time, like Thanksgiving, Halloween, whatever they had. Like
Gotcha.
I would have my slot, and shout my guy DJ Stacks from Hot 97 for that. But I'm not a radio, excuse me, I'm not like the way radio, at least terrestrial radio is set up right now, is everything's playlisted. So like I'm not into, like they're gonna give you a list of songs that are A's, B's, C's, and you got to come out of commercial with an A, and then you got to follow it. Like you can never play a C followed by an A. Like I'm giving the sauce right now.
Hey,
Yeah.
I think I can do
even-
that.
Yes,
I might be able to be.
So like, well, some radios, like stations, are it's you have to stay within their format, because I mean, think about it, it's a numbers thing for them too, right? Like
You want to listen?
they know what music people are listening to. So from a numbers and a business standpoint from them, I get it. I'm not like knocking it, because they want to keep these listeners tuned in as long as possible. They don't want to lose the listener. So they know if this amount of songs is played at certain times, that they're going to have the people tuned in, you know? I'd much more rather, like my favorite mix of all time that I played was called The Boom at Noon, which was a totally throwback old school mix. And I had the freedom to do whatever I want. So like,
I need to hear that mix.
I'll send it to you. Like
I
I'm
need
running
that.
through Wu-Tang, I'm running through
wow.
like Biggie, I'm running through Nas, I'm running through like Capone and Noriega. Like I'm running through all old stuff, and there was no like,
You can't do that.
you can't do that no more.
Yeah.
No, well, other stations you can, like,
Right.
you know, but where the main stations can't really do that. That's FM radio.
Yeah,
by the way.
yeah, right. This episode is brought to you by Hudson Valley Teeth Whitening. Hudson Valley Teeth Whitening is an experienced teeth whitening salon where you can get up to 7 shades lighter with just a 60 or 90-minute session in a professional and relaxing setting. They offer the most superior product coupled with the highest quality of customer service available to get you instant results. Whether you have an important event to attend, such as a wedding, birthday, anniversary, interview, or you are just unhappy with the color of your teeth, this LED light technology helps whiten your teeth fast and easy. At Hudson Valley Teeth Whitening, they understand how important your smile is to you. And speaking from personal experience, you'll be guided by highly efficient staff in a relaxing environment to reach your desired shade. Let them know you're a friend of Dave's from the No Snooze podcast and connect with them at hudsonvalleyteethwhitening.com or on Instagram at HV Teeth Whitening. Now, back to the epi. All right, let's have a little fun with some rapid fire stuff. First thing that comes to mind, all right?
Go.
Favorite food?
Pizza.
I knew you were going to say that. It's mine too. But
Pasta too. But
yeah,
I know. I'm thinking
that's
pizza.
why it's got to go first thing.
Okay. Because the Johnny's Pizza in Mount Vernon is just something
I'm from
different.
Mount Vernon.
Are you really?
Yeah, but what's crazy is I actually enjoyed Joe's Pizza more than I enjoyed
Johnny's?
Johnny's, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm one of the few to say. And then when I was like 10 years old, there was this little low-key spot by the train station off Gramerton. It was called Pizza Pizza. I don't know if it's still there.
Right.
That actually became my favorite slice just because of the ratio of dough to the actual crunch was fire to me. And I like a little bit more cheese on my slice.
Right.
Favorite celebrity to be around over the years? That's a tough one. That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
That's a tough one. Who's the coolest? Are you saying?
Yeah.
I'd say 50 probably.
Yeah. Yo,
He's cool as shit.
he's
man.
a vibe.
Like, he's what you see is what you get. So like I'm super tight with Jadakiss because we lived in the same building, and we've been working.
My favorite rapper of all time.
So Jadakiss is like my guy. We're more like brothers.
Right,
Like,
right.
We lived in the same complex for like 10 years. I've done like we've been working together for like 15 years. I've probably done over 200 shows with the guy already, you know? So like we've done a lot of club, but like we fight like brothers, you know what I mean? But coolest, I would say 50. 50 he's that guy.
This one I think is a tough question too. Favorite song to get the crowd going. And I'll take it even further. If you can only play one song at that time, like what song would that be?
Something I like? Or for the crowd?
Yeah, like for the crowd.
That's tough. That's really tough.
It wouldn't be Luke Combs' Fast Car? That's my jam.
That's a tough question. To play one record?
Yeah, like if you had no sense of knowledge of what the crowd was going to be. So you've been spending 30 years, right? So you could have 20-year-olds in the building and you can have 50-year-olds in the building. You could play one track. What's that track?
Shaka Khan.
Yeah, okay.
Ain't nobody. Shaka Khan.
That's a good one. Very good one. Favorite city to DJ in?
Could it be an island? Like,
yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Favorite location?
Yeah,
I guess.
favorite location. Yeah.
I would say Dubai was probably the funnest. I'm in an outdoor like football stadium. It's wild how they do the clubs in Dubai. Like it was a place called Base, and these clubs are constructed. So like it was like a football stadium. There was a huge bar in the middle, and there was all stadium around you, and then there was a stage. So like, you know, there was 4,000 or 5,000 people, and they build the club, and then for the season, and then they knock the whole thing down. But that was the
Dubai's
funnest.
wild, right?
Dubai is nuts.
I've never been, but the things I see and hear, I'm like, wow.
I was blessed to like they brought me there like 4 or 5 times, and it's like a really, really cool experience.
Wow. Damn, it happened again. You said Dubai, and I was like, damn, I want to go to Dubai, and then I lost my train of thought. Curious, was there ever a moment though that you were like real hyped to play a song and then the crowd just didn't respond?
Yes, there's been some.
That would happen to me with Luke Combs' Fast Car.
Right.
I'd be like, yo, I'm about to play this banger right now, and then you hear that.
I mean, it's only normal with a 30-year career. I'm sure I slipped in a few that they weren't. I got a few of these, or like, like you can't make everybody happy.
Yeah. All right, this one I want a quick response to. If you weren't a DJ, you would be It's not quick.
Construction.
Construction?
Construction.
That's the Jewish family in you, for sure. Now, is that because that's an interest of yours?
It's because I just started to build a house, and I really enjoy it.
Really? You like the
enjoy the process.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like from the studs or from the drawings?
Like from the blueprints.
Wow.
Like I was instrumental in like the whole, like I saw this, and like, again, I don't know if you want to keep going with the questions. But
No.
It's funny because like when we started building, we had a huge hurdle, and like we hit rock. So when you're digging in the digging process, so like from digging the foundation, normally you dig a foundation, you pour concrete or however they want to do it, and we hit rock like immediately. So we pull out like the first couple feet of it, and then we get into granite. So that process, like we went through 3 machines and a special driller to drill holes in the rock and pull it out. That whole process took like a month just to take the rock out.
There was granite down there?
Granite below. First it was like ledge.
Why?
Because it's funny that the block that I'm moving, I shouldn't even say my address, but it's called Greystone, and it was gray stone underneath it.
Wow.
Yeah. So like we started with one machine with one size pin, and then a different machine with a different size hammer. We couldn't break the rock. And because it was so hard, like you're literally chipping into the earth.
Oh my God! You should refurbish that stuff and use it in your house.
Right. I should have took the granite and but it was crazy. It was a process, but it's fun. Like like it's fun to like. I love that. I could see myself doing that. Right.
Any other interests of yours that you have? Like what else are you interested in?
I love traveling. Like I just want to see
and
the
not
world.
DJing, just traveling.
No. I mean, obviously, like I have more fun when I'm away when I don't have to work, but it's very seldom because I'm using a lot of these, work trips as vacations. So like, but try being on vacation, getting paid a good amount of money. So you got to make sure you're on point. That's always on your mind. So you don't want to kind of like, there's no real relaxation there, even though I've been doing this so long. Like there's still, times that up to this day where you get nervous, you know what I mean? Like, again, like that goes away after the first 2 records, but to say that, you still don't get those butterflies every once in a while before you jump on the set, I'd be lying if I said that didn't happen.
So our community is big on action, right? Everybody that listens to this podcast wants more for themselves, strives to be better in most facets of their life. But I look at somebody like you, you've been able to do this now for 30 years, 15 at this, elite high level. Are there things that you still battle, or maybe one thing that you still battle, on a daily, weekly basis? For me, people look at me and they're like, wow, this guy's got it together. But the reality is I still have a lot of negative thoughts that I, battle every day. And I've obviously been vulnerable and open on the podcast. And I'm not asking for your, deep stuff. But if there's something that you can think of with the mission to empower somebody who might be struggling.
I think it's really, for me, personal experience, I think my diet is like really something that I need to like, it's very mental. And I just, coming from an Italian family, I just love food. And I think I battle with myself every day to try to like, I'm not going to go get that, or like, like the cravings that for me, again, that's just my personal experience. I think the health that all wraps into this health thing that we're talking about. Right. So like, I think that, keeping a health mindset is really what is challenging.
It's challenging, but you know that you have to do it. So you're like,
you have to do it. And, mixing in the travel and being so tired, like I'm tired a lot. And then I also, which is another thing, like I'm being super open on this, like I have sleep apnea. So I'm waking up constantly throughout the night. And that's another thing that's not like great because I'm tired every day, and like, that you could get put on a machine for it. And I feel like that could be a weight thing too, though. If I drop these 20 pounds, I won't need it, So like, it's the health I think is the most challenging.
How'd you find out you had sleep apnea? Was your wife like,
tested?
You're snoring too much?
Yeah, I got not bang. Like she would hit me all the time. She's like, you need to go sleep in the other room. Like I'm just, like, I literally choke when I'm sleeping. But it's funny. Like before we got married, I dropped down. Like I told you I was as high as 190. For my wedding, I was low as 150.
Wow.
So there was a 40 pound swing there. And when I was a lot like leaner, I didn't snore as much. But again, it's all in like your passageways and like your throat. Like, so like, that's what I think is I don't know if it's something that I could necessarily just get rid of.
Right.
But there's all like, there's Band-Aids that you could put on, like, like,
I was going to say, have you ever tried those? They're
like,
amazing.
What I'm saying, when I say Band-Aids, like quick fix. Yeah. So there's like mouthpieces.
Oh, gotcha.
But
the breathe rights really work, man.
Yeah, those work, I
like, use them.
Do you really?
They're great. Yeah.
So, I mean, again, I think the health thing is the most challenging.
All right. So now I'm going to challenge you a little bit more, and you can't use health as the answer to this.
Okay.
What's something in your life, or what aspect of your life do you want to focus on and get better as you continue in your journey?
Taking health out of it, right?
Taking health out of it, yeah. Because that would obviously, I think that's one for all of us. Like, and for me, I've spoken about this multiple times, but like, the patience as a man, learning how to find strength and vulnerability, having the uncomfortable conversations are all things that like now I'm kind of comfortable with and I was really terrible with before. Ruined a lot of relationships in my past.
Right.
So that was a big thing. Learning how to, be present, even though there's so many business opportunities right now. Like with my daughter, it's a struggle, but now she's at the age where she's like, Daddy, put your phone down. And it's sad. It makes me sad because I'm like, damn, I just missed out on a moment. Right. So something that you just are like, damn, you know what? I'm going to turn this on. I want to be better in this aspect of my life.
I think relationships, like, I think, I think I'm getting to the stretch of my life where I'm going to be starting a family soon, and I think, you know, having, you know, patience and maybe letting go of my stubbornness. Obviously, you know, from an Italian family, we all, that's like almost genetic,
Yeah,
you know
is,
what I
right?
mean? So like, I think working on, you know, my relationship, especially with my wife, and not to say that it's bad,
No, of course.
but, you know, like my stubbornness, like, and this is something that we were talking about the other day, like if we were to get into it and have an argument, some days that argument lasted, you know, 3 or 4 days, you know, like now we're learning to, like, you know what, let that go after a day, or like just not be so like stubborn and change your ways. Like there's a lot of look, you try to be better every day, you know, like, and I think that being stubborn is a very, you know, it's a very bad trait to have. And I think, you know, like you said, patience, I think just having a better, more healthy relationship with, you know, even just my wife, just with other people,
with
you
people
know,
in general.
in
Yeah.
general.
No, that's a good one, man. And I like, so that concept is what I call time under tension. So for me, I was the same way, but I was really toxic in my relationships because I'll curse you out and go crazy on you. One, I'm not apologizing for it. And two, I'm just going to let some time pass. And then I'm going to be like, you want to be friends again?
Right.
Like that was a real bad quality of mine. Whereas like my partners in the past, they were the complete opposite. And all they really needed was for me to empathize with them. But I didn't have the ability
take
to
accountability.
do that. Take accountability for it. Exactly. So now I'm in a new relationship with somebody who I've known for, you know, over 13 years from Manhattanville too.
Okay.
Ironic. And the one thing that we like pride ourselves on now is time under tension. When we disagree, it's okay to have a bad moment. Right. You could even have a bad hour, but there's no need to take that little argument and extend it over a period of time.
Right.
So I've identified that as time under tension. If I can reduce that in all of my relationships, just like you said, you're going to now peak at the next level.
Right.
And honestly, it's something that like you're only going to grow from that, right? And then because you're growing from that, the relationship is only going to flourish.
Right.
People think that the grass is greener on the other side, and that's not exactly true. The grass is going to be green where you water that grass.
Correct.
And that relationship, whatever the relationship is, you know, it's worth watering in that moment. Stop just, you know, oh, I want to get to the next one. I want to do this. I want to do that. For me, my situation, I needed to get I'm separated and going through a divorce process. Sometimes that just needs to happen. But to anybody who's, you know, really struggling in the relationship world, the grass will be green where you put the effort in and you water and nourish and feed that.
Correct. And to add to that, like, so I'm a little bit of the opposite. Like I'm not into confrontation. So like I don't like to fight. You know what I mean? So if I'm having an argument with somebody I'm working with, or my wife, or my family, or something like that, I shut down, and that's also not a great thing because you take, if you shut down, and sometimes, like I said, like if I'm arguing, if me and my wife have a disagreement and I shut down, and I'm just not talking, or that's even worse because now it's like, you know, whoever's not holding themselves accountable for what each one did, but now it's like, now it's even worse,
right?
Because we're not even speaking about it, and it's like we're not getting anywhere.
And also to that point, it's torture to do to somebody. And
Right.
again, I've done this too intentionally in a bad way to people. So I'm speaking on the experience from myself. But what you do in that moment when you're not able to communicate with somebody, or you're intentionally not communicating and you're shutting down, what that's doing is allowing the other person to try to interpret your feelings.
Right.
And 99% of the time, you're going to be wrong. Right? They're going to come up with the worst case scenario when really, if you were just able to articulate what's going on, why you're frustrated, why you're pissed off, it's not that bad and it's not that deep.
Communication.
It's everything.
It's everything.
It really is.
And that's one thing that it's another thing that I've learned, like, you know, like I said, I'm 42 years old, you're still learning every day. Like, you know, communication is key, whether it's work, whether it's family, whether it's anything, it's huge. And that's something that I have to, again, work on, because I don't like to fight. You know what I mean? I'd rather just not say anything.
Right.
Because I don't want to bring that level up where, you know, like, she's a type A, or like whoever, somebody that I'm working with has the energy, and I'm not looking for that. I'm just looking. I'm very laid back. I'm very like relaxed. I'm very chill. So it's like I don't want that.
Right.
You know. But working
No,
on.
we all are, man.
Yeah.
And that's the goal. Like the day I get somebody on this damn podcast that says like, nah, I'm good. That'll be the day that we stop this podcast. All right. No, man, Joe, I'm grateful to, I've sat down with you and discussed this. The conversation went all over the place, which is what I love. Obviously, your DJ career is extremely impressive and it's a huge success, but there's a lot more to you. And I don't know if everybody gets the opportunity to hear you, on an interview like this in this space and opening up. So
Right.
I'm really appreciative.
I honestly, to be honest with you, in all the interviews I've done over the years, and we never dove into, it was always about music and this
Right.
and that. And I appreciate you having me, and we were able to touch on a couple of other things so people could, kind of see another side of.
No, that's
this.
awesome. CV, you got anything for your boy before we close this out?
What's up, man? You haven't seen me in 20 years.
I'm so happy to see you, man. And I miss you, man. This was my guy. This was my barber as well. He was my barber from college until he decided to shut down the shop. And when the first time he told me, which obviously wasn't right away, it was like my heart sank because I'm like, damn, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
I'm one of those that has that that loyalty. It just regards all my
He
relationships.
was every week, man,
Yeah.
or
And
every
I
2 weeks.
Bro, I don't even know how to move when he was like, I'm gonna show I don't know what to
crippled,
do.
right?
Yeah, and it was. I'll be honest. You don't know this, but after you close shop, it took me probably like the better part of 2 years.
I'm dead, bro. You didn't get a haircut for 2 years?
No. I still got a haircut,
right.
but it took me 2 years to find somebody just to feel comfort. Because I mean, I gotta be honest, I've known this guy forever,
Right.
And I've always been comfortable around him because we were friends before. We played video games, we fucked around, we went to the same college. We you know what I mean? We're always together. So then when he got his business, I'm more than happy because this is my guy he's doing the thing,
Yep.
and he's my barber. He's my guy. I'm not going to the other guys.
Right,
It's my guy. And, to be honest, I'm not one of those that goes in and is having a ton of conversations, but the sense of ease, the sense of comfort that I've always been with him.
Yeah.
How do you find that in somebody else after 10 years or plus into somebody that's going to cut your hair? Like, I don't even know, honestly. Half the time, I wouldn't even know what to tell a barber how I want my haircut because he just knew.
He just knew.
You
Yeah.
make me all emotional.
No, I'm being serious. This is from the heart. I haven't seen you in a long time, so I'm going to make you cry real quick.
Love is love.
So, about 2 years. And then when I finally found out, I was like, oh, hopefully this guy doesn't go now because I don't know what to do. But that's, I'm so happy that you're here, man. I'm happy to see you again. And
it was great to catch up. And
your journey's been amazing, man. So I'm so proud, honestly.
Thank
as a
you.
proud friend, man. It's
Thank you.
awesome.
Mark my words, man. We'll get together and we'll do it in a live format too at a bigger and better venue.
that'll be great.
I like that. Joe, let everybody know where they could find you and connect with you.
That's DJ Shortcuts across the board. So it's DJ SHORTKUTZ. It's at DJ Shortcuts, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. It's all the same. So I keep everything. And every Tuesday night I'm at Nebula in New York City. And then, I put calendars up and stuff like that to where I'm going to be traveling, and that's about it.
Listen, man, I look the part and I can fight too, and I don't really like to
Well,
fight.
not for nothing. You look like a great security guy.
But well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, so the funny thing is, shout out to Felva, he knows the deal. He's like, yo, just walk in with me, bro. He's like, you could go have fun after, but like just walk in with me and stand next to me for a little bit. And I'm like, but the one thing I'm not doing is carrying your laptop. All right. I'm not carrying your laptop as we walk into the club. All right.
By the way, different times. Back in the day, my man was carrying crates. into the
Crates.
into the bar
I came
or
from the
whatever.
vinyl era.
Yeah.
See, but now I
It's
think
a real deal right here.
But this is dope too because like I'm sure some DJs now, like I mean maybe I'm dragging it, but like technically you could really, all right, I'm here. And you just pull up with your phone, like
Forget a phone. They're coming with USB drives
yo, see?
and headphones, and
that's
some of them aren't even using headphones. So it's a USB drive.
It's
I was on a
crazy.
plane
with crates.
six crates of records traveling like weekly.
That was like you when we traveled to Tactical Baby Gear in Carolina.
It was terrible. So many crates.
Yeah.
With no help, by the way. All
That's
these
so-
guys,
yeah.
no help.
Guys, this has been fun. I really appreciate this, and we might have to do a part 2 soon.
Let's get it.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, my brother. Listen, guys, we're grateful for you, the listener. So if you found value in today, if we made you laugh, if we made you cry, if you felt anything, share the show, spread the word. That's how we continue to grow the No Snooze podcast. So we appreciate all your support. You can shop the latest merch at nosnoozeshop.com. And until next time, stop snoozing.
Get up and get after it.
DJ Shortcuts. Yo, do I sound like a DJ myself? Thank you guys for tuning in. That's another epi in the books. You can follow us on Instagram at No Snooze Podcast and leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to us. our YouTube channel, No Snooze. Shop the latest merch at nosnoozeshop.com. Come on.